Hello, everybody! BeMetalways here. Welcome to another weekly album review. It's not really heavy metal today because we're talking about Satriani, the Elephants of Mars, released by earMUSIC on April 8th, 2022. Now, of course, Joe Satriani, known to any guitarist or at least guitar enthusiastic, is an American guitarist, composer, songwriter, and guitar teacher. He is a 15-time Grammy Award nominee and has sold over 10 million albums, making him the best-selling instrumental rock guitarist of all time. I have been a fan since the 90s, and 1987's Surfing with the Alien is one of my favorite and most influential albums of all time. So let's see all these years later what he has to bring to us with the Elephants of Mars, his 18th solo studio album following 2020's Shape Shifting. I really liked Shape Shifting. It was on my top 30 list of that year. So let's see how the new album holds up. To get things started, we get an intense rocker with soothing elements named Sahara. This album opener, it brings a lot of elegance to the album. It's a trademark Satriani song and a great opener. But it's also a deceiving song, as this is not just another of Satriani's album. There's a lot going on in this new album. With 14 songs in 67 minutes, The Elephants of Mars is an album where variety is at the heart of it. The title track and song number 2 is another classic Satriani track with the early records vibe to it. And then we also get Faceless, a beautiful ballad with a nice piano intro and a slow tempo melody as we come to expect from Satriani. Crying is a classic song that comes to mind when I listen to Faceless. We got also Bluefoot Groovy that brings his bluesy sides to the surface. Remember, for example, 1995 Cool Number 9, something like that. But don't get fooled by those early songs. The album goes into many places, some new, and there's a lot of fusion elements. Sailing the Seas of Ganymede kicks off the fusion and experimental part of the album. Doors of Perception with a prominent percussion and an Asian string instrumentals follow. And then we get East 104th Street, New York City, 1973, which is a full-on fusion track in my opinion. Pumping is a funky song with so cool synths to it. And we have Dance of the Spores featuring a little bit of wah extravaganza, but more interestingly, it's inspired by circus music. Then the 80s electronic music homage with Night Scene is another curved ball. I love the keyboard solo on this one. Very different track. If I'm being picky here, I guess my only complaint is that the album is a bit too long, so I wonder if the last two songs were really needed. The other thing is, if you are more into Satriani's rocker side, then you may be disappointed with this album. But other than that, it's Satriani in super shape, doing different things, exploring new things. It's pretty cool. And by the way, I think this is the first album that doesn't feature a picture of himself on the cover since Surfing with the Alien. I thought that was a cool, interesting fact. Now, wrapping up my opinion here, Joe Satriani has nothing to prove. Almost 20 studio albums and a collection of millions of fans and accolades in his career. However, with The Elephants of Mars, he demonstrates that standing still is not an option. A dynamic album combining classic elements from the early albums with experimentation and fusion music makes this album a pleasure to listen to. It's another delight also to inspire guitar players around the world. So A very good album, 83 out of 100. Highly recommended for Satriani's fans or any guitar player, really. So thanks for being here, for listening, and BeMetalways.